Well, hey everybody, welcome to the MenoLounge. I'm Julie Gordon-White, CEO of MenoWell, Menopause, Energy, and Protein Bars. It's MenoLounge Tuesday, and I'm so excited because we have one of my friends from afar that we've been chatting and sharing back and forth, and finally have her here. So I'm going to bring her right up. Hey, Martha. Um, Hi, Wonder. I hope it's not too hot or too rainy or too stormy where you are because, oh boy,
Great.
it's like menopause has struck the North America with all the weather patterns happening here.
It has. It has. How are you?
Hi,
Hi,
Sonya
Julie.
Barnes. How are you? Oh, I'm so glad.
Me too. Finally to meet you and have a conversation.
Instead of just the DMing back and forth. But how amazing is the DMing, new relationships, connections. I have to say it's been just a bonus, a huge bonus
It
in
really is.
joining this
I feel like you all are
conversation.
my friends. I feel like you all are my friends. I was
I
like,
know,
I have a friend,
I know.
my Menno friend. So,
My
but
my Insta bestie, that's what I always say
yeah,
too.
my
Yeah, I love. Well, proper introduction, Sonya Barnes of Sonya Barnes International, and you are an executive life and wellness coach. And when I learned that about you, I'm like, oh, we are like sisters from another mother because, my coaching career, women entrepreneurs in the past, and of course, all we do for MenoWell, I knew I could not wait to have
yeah,
you on because especially in midlife, most women have reached their career peaks, so they are in the C-suite or very close to the C-suite. Their earning power is optimal, but their health, their body, the way they feel, not so much. So
so
I'd
much.
love to dive into that today. But tell us a little bit and tell our listeners who are new to the Sonya Barnes world,
So
and if you're not following her, do
thank
at
you,
Sonya
thank you,
Barnes.
thank you once again for having me
Yes.
on this IG Live. Such a treat, Julie. So for those of you all who do not follow me, I am Sonya Barnes. I am a executive life and wellness coach for senior executive women who are experiencing burnout and menopause in the workplace. So I had a global business for 22 years as a personal brand and image consultant. And a few years ago, I spoke to my clients and I said, what is it that you all need from me? And what are you going through? And they said, we're tired, we're burnt out, and what the heck is happening to our bodies?
Right,
So
right.
I shifted to that. So, but
And
yeah.
and where were you in that
Oh my
stage when
gosh.
you were having that conversation? Were you in sync with them? And that's probably why you asked the
I
question.
was
But
in sync with them because was going through burnout at the time. I
mm,
had
mm,
early onset menopause with zero knowledge, central
mm,
hysterectomy with like good luck,
yeah,
nothing.
yeah,
And I had some family things. And so I was like, okay, I'm running a business. My family is in dire straits need of me. And I'm like, I felt like I was drowning, like losing
mm,
my mind. So I could relate to that. The weight gain, bags, all the things that were happening.
yeah.
So to know that I was not alone and that I could be there to help my clients was a big plus for
I
me.
love
So.
that. I love all of us, women in this space, conversation, services, products, etc. Because most of us are here because of our own experience.
Yeah.
So we bring that love and care, curiosity, and solution based on our own
Our own personal experience.
struggles.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just goes on. It goes on. And I remember talking to my business coach at the time, and she was like, you cannot put menopause on your website. I'm like, but it's real.
Right. I
Now,
know.
fast forward 3 years later, and it's
Ding.
everywhere.
Same experience when I started MenoWell. Do you need to talk about menopause? Do you need to build a nutrition profile around menopause? I'm like, well, yes, because my girlfriends are the same way. Don't do that. Women, just do women. I'm like, no, all the more reason we need to step in and be bold around this
Absolutely.
conversation and who we are and the identities that we're building. Sonya, can we go back to burnout? Because I think a lot of women don't really understand the nuance of burnout. Can you share your expertise around that?
Absolutely. So the World Health Organization actually labels burnout as a diagnosis.
Mm,
So it is literally a diagnosis of burnout. And that is when You're not able to function like you used to. Your sleep, your body physiologically is changing as a result of lack of overuse of care, whether it's mental, emotional, physical. And when you're at that peak, you've pretty much just like done everything. And that's why, like with COVID, there was a mass exodus of women who were saying, I'm not doing that again. Like,
Yes.
I just cannot go back.
Done.
There has to be a better way to live.
Yeah.
And burnout is become an epidemic. I now know that the Society of Human Resource Managers are now looking at how they can implement ways to reduce burnout within their workforce, and especially at their senior executive staff.
Yeah.
Because women are a powerful component in the work corporate culture, and we really impact the bottom line.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. We make the most money, soon we'll have, 78% of all the discretionary earnings. We make all the buying decisions. And so, but it's interesting. Do you think there's a correlation post-COVID? We were already moving towards, tons of online meetings, but Zoom, Teams, whatever, online meetings just went through the roof during the pandemic. And then we stayed because we do like being from home because we can be flexible. But I also think we're suffering potentially because we're always working. And I'm only might be talking about myself, but
you're talking about myself as well.
okay.
So
I thought I was, linking arms with my sisters here, but do you think?
No, we need to kind of separate. And when you work from home, you just work. So I would say I go back way prior to COVID because I had a global company. There was Skype. I know many of you all might not remember Skype.
I remember Skype. It keeps that icon keeps wanting to come up in my toolbar. I'm like, I don't need you anymore.
Oh, I was like, Skype is gone by the wayside, but I use Skype and then Zoom. Mm-hmm. So when the pandemic happened and everyone had a moment to just kind of be still and regroup and recalibrate and really assess their quality of life. And then we went to work from home. It was like, okay, work from home doesn't mean 24/7 work from home. For those of us that do work from home, we could work at 10 o'clock at night. And I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. So I always encourage my clients that do work from home to set a timer, like 8 to 12 for a break and 12 to 5:30 and walk away, find something else to do because we can't turn it off. It's constantly, and the body and the mind both need a significant amount of rest. So.
Okay. Noted, coach. Coaches need coaches. That's what I say. So, just no boundaries. And so how is that impacting now executive women who are maybe experiencing burnout and menopause? What have you noticed with your clients?
So for a lot of them have gone hybrid where they have to go into the office maybe a couple of days a week. Right. But that's kind of been helpful because for the women who are in the height of menopause and they experience, which is one of the biggest things, is brain fog. That means they're not quality sleep. So it's like you have to get your quality sleep. And I encourage them to prioritize their sleep ritual. So coupled with working, you're not mindfully eating, you're not physically moving as much. And 9 out of 10, you're probably not properly hydrating throughout the day.
Right.
And so your body is like, okay, first we're sedentary. All things are happening internal and we have a workload that seems insurmountable.
Right.
So we have to really break it down into components of what can we really get done and really take accountability for what we can do in terms of movement, strategic breaks throughout the day. Even if you get up and turn on the music for 10 minutes and dance just to get the endorphins back up and rolling. But it's so important, so very important.
Yeah, I love the idea of the timer. And sometimes I set alarms for myself during the day. My watch always tells me, get up. I'm addicted to my Apple Watch, mostly because, I can track, get up, drink water, because you could just be so head down and focused that you forget. And coffee is not a liquid, does the opposite, right? So
I know coffee is a lot of liquid. My grandson said, why do you drink so much coffee? But I'm like, but I drink a lot of water too. So, you have menopause that's happening, you have burnout. It's the perfect storm for havoc on our bodies, our total bodies. our spiritual, mental, and physical health. So you have to say, you can't just allow it to be. I always say, don't allow it to be, like get into action to do something different and make a change. Yeah.
I love that. We should write that. We should all write that down. So let's transition a little bit into wellness, because that's the other part of what you do. And I know we talked about that sort of at a high level. How do you help your clients who are executives, with, I'm sure many with extreme amount of pressure, maybe they are responsible for a whole huge region of people or huge teams, or P&L responsibility into the multi-millions, maybe even more, and nutrition, wellness. How does that play a part? Because that also is something that, along with coffee, like, oh, I'll just grab something here,
Yes.
or not eat at all. So
all, and they think that that's it, and they look up and it's like 4 o'clock and your body hasn't been fed. So you're right, a lot of my clients are C-suite, high-level executive females, and I tell them you cannot piecemeal a symptom. They'll say, oh, I have a headache, I'm just going to take a Tylenol. No, it's more than that. You put a Band-Aid on symptoms. You really have to address the whole being. So we go to physical, like a big on physical movement. And this is the famous thing. I don't have time. I don't have time to work out. I'm like, honey, we all have the same 168 hours in a week. Like, you have time to work out. So you just have to find that. So we sit down and we come up with a strategic plan. Like, even if it's 10 minutes, I can put something in the microwave. And while it's going, I'm doing like squats, like 20 squats. Or if I'm brushing my teeth, I'm practicing balance. So it's the physical part. I have them address the whole person. How can you reduce stress? And is the stress, the question that I ask often is the stress self-imposed?
Oh, let's just pause here for a minute. Dropping some gold nuggets here.
Is that
Okay, we got to lean into that. Is our stress self-imposed? I didn't know I was coming to a coaching session today.
I know it's what we do. But
okay, keep going, coach. Keep going.
Self-imposed because for so long to get to that level, especially in our generation, we've had to like break the glass ceiling and like do masculine energy. And we feel the need to hold on to the fight, when in actuality, I'm like, we're already at the table. Let's all enjoy, let's all dine together, and you can relax, help groom some of the younger generation. But we've done it for so long. It's an ingrained, innate thing that we have been trained to do. I call it a network of old conversations that we've been taught. You grind. But oftentimes when I ask them that, and this is my favorite thing now, at such a crazy time in the world.
Here comes another one.
I'm so busy. And I'm like, honey, you're not running the country. Now you might can, but you're not running the country. You just work for a company. Okay. You're running a lot of things, but it's not the world. It's not the United States of America. So let's pull back and take a look at what's really happening. And a lot of times the self and the conversations are just self-imposing. That's what they have in their head. So I do look at like the stress, and I ask them to shift their mindset. You have to shift your mindset. If you tell yourself you're always busy, now you may have things and tasks to do, and you definitely will have busy times in your career or throughout the week or the day.
Right.
But honestly, we're not running the country.
Not every day. Right. And unless you're saving lives, right? Like, is anybody dying here?
No one's going to die.
Only us.
Only us killing ourselves.
Right.
I look at the stress level first. I ask them about the mindset and what they're telling to themselves. And then I ask them a simple question like, what are you willing to commit to? Because they'll talk. I had a client this last week. They'll talk about, I really need to lose weight, famous for us. I need to do this. I was like, so I've been hearing this for like 4 months now. And I don't know if you are interested in losing weight or are you committed? And there's that difference. You know, we heard the term, interest is you do what's convenient. And when you're committed, you do whatever it takes.
That's right.
And so they've just said this conversation. So we really do look at the whole person, like the stress level, the physical, The nutrition, mindful eating. And you know this
You
with,
know, I'm all about that, right? Yeah.
we have a tendency to grab, or we wait until we get super hungry and are not prepared for the meals. And then we default to the rubbish, and that doesn't serve
Ooh,
us.
that word, rubbish. And we are worth way more than
Worth more
rubbish.
rubbish. So I
Mm.
do. I take them through a whole 360 perspective on what is their life looking like, how do you want that life to be, and what do you gain from it, and if what are you really committed to doing. So mindset, stress, physical, nutrition, mind, mental capacity, and mental health.
Mm. Huge mental health.
Huge
Sonya,
thing.
I
So
just want to say, Nicole said thank you that that this conversation is so needed.
thank you.
So I just wanted to drop that in there. And then Coach Latoya said, oh, hi. She said, hi. Hi, Latoya. Okay, keep going. But yes, mental health, huge
Yeah.
part that we don't, because mindset and mental health are two different things, right? Mindset is what we believe,
Mm-hmm.
and where we maybe our identity is positioned, but mental health can be something completely different.
Mental health is really taking care of your inner part, like the meditation. I know we've heard it for years. Like I always say, that morning power hour of transitioning into the day, just like we have a ritual to go to sleep. I was like, get up an extra early. I know you're already talking about I don't have enough sleep, but you really need to ground yourself and prepare yourself, whether through prayer, meditation, both, an outside walk with nature, or just something to quiet your mind and prepare for the day. Otherwise, you wind up going through your day by default and not with intention. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
It's life changing. I've had a morning practice like that, very similar to what you're describing, except for I cycle. I get on my stationary cycle, my cycle bike, instead of going outside usually, but it's right next to a really big window. So I pretend that I'm outside. I open it up, the window wide open, that cold air coming in. I love it with a big view. But that time set aside in the morning sets my whole day. And I can tell on the days when I get, distracted or jump, inadvertently check email, which is a whole other thing, right? Before I should. I really try not to do that in the beginning, and I do my morning routine before checking any social, email, etc. Because you just get hijacked. You just do. We can't help it. It's designed so well. Our brain's like, whoop, gone. So
phone away from the bed.
yeah.
Put the phone.
But if your alarm is on your phone, like it takes discipline. I actually like the idea of building the discipline around not touching it, which is just because I'm crazy like that. I have to make things harder. But that morning routine, when it's committed to every day, I start my day so intentional, so peaceful, so grounded, and actually it gives me more energy, and I would say focus and power through the whole day. Because without it, you just, I don't have as much direction. Even if I have a planner with all of the focus in the planner, it can be hard to stick to it if I'm not grounded before I start. So I highly, highly, highly recommend a morning.
I highly recommend that. And I heard you use the term discipline. And I had a coach, and we hear a term discipline, but we associate discipline as something hard, like, oh my God, or sacrifice. But in actuality, I like to look at discipline as an ease and a gift. It makes life easier. I have grandchildren, and they crave and they do well with structure. And we're just taller kids. Most do well when we have a schedule or structure. Yeah. Of course, it can be flexible, but I was like, let's look at discipline as creating a life with ease. If you know you're going to get up in the morning, you do your morning stretch, your meditation, your prayer call, your coffee or tea, your body gets used to that. And you're right. I'm just like you, Julie. The days that I don't, my whole day is like, Lulu for cocoa, cuckoo for cocoa.
You're like the whole day trying to get back on track. Yeah.
What is going on? Yeah. So when that happens, I do encourage my clients to just take a deep breath. We have a tendency to hold in all day, like in anticipation or of regret of what's happening. But we just oftentimes, I'll say, okay, I need you all to just stop what you're doing. Take a deep breath, inhale through the nose, pause and exhale, and it's okay. Like, give ourselves some breath work. It just quiets the nervous system. So
The body loves it.
but
The body loves it for sure. You're just making me really
yeah,
relaxed now, Sonya. So thank you.
yes.
Oh,
Who
because the
wants to
morning wasn't so relaxed. Even though I got in my workout, I did the coffee, I did my
say
morning routine, and it was,
same, same.
it's a thing.
And I got a prayer this morning. I did a great hard hit workout, had coffee and lots of water.
Yes, I think that's why I'm missing. I need a little extra
But
water today.
it's so,
It's hot. We need extra water in the summer, by the way.
and it's crispy in North Carolina. My grass is a pack of McDonald's fries because it's
It's crispy. Okay, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, so all my windows are open, breeze, but it's hot for us. Like it's like 80. Like it's too hot, you know.
we'll be almost 100 today. So.
Sorry for being a whiner. You mentioned grandkids. You have, I know, a granddaughter.
I have three great. I know. I have
So
three.
beautiful. I haven't had that joy just yet, but I know a lot of executive women are dealing with aging parents, adulting kids, and adding new little people into their world that they probably just want to spend all their time with anyway.
All of it, or most of it. Not all the time,
not
but
all
most of it.
Time, right? Because isn't the good part I heard, like you can scoot them back with their parents when you're finished with the like sucking up the good stuff.
You know, it's interesting. I was doing some writing the other day, and I was thinking that no one prepared us, not just for menopause. Like, good luck with that, for having that, for at least for my culture and my generation. No one prepared us for aging parents.
Yeah.
Like, is this new? Like, what's going on? And I literally say that, my dad's in his 80s, my mom late 70s. It's like twice a child, once an adult.
Mm.
And then we were not prepared for the boomerang children that leave and come back and leave and come back. And then when they become adults, you have to learn to parent them differently.
Yeah.
So I look at my clients and they're like, oh my God, like, where do I belong? Like, my kid's doing this. My mom needs that. Oh, that's right. My spouse, or I'm single and I'm trying to date, through menopause, burnout, work, and travel, all of the things. But it can be a lot thrown at us at one time. And I always say, let's just take a pause. Let's prioritize what really matters most. And if you're super lucky and bonus, you get some grands who want to see you. Mine live about a mile away. Want to see you often, but then you have little people that you realize at this age that time, that quality time is so, so precious. So it really comes into setting priorities and realizing that you cannot have it all at once. You can have it all, just not all at one time.
That's
really,
the tricky part.
Yeah. Really saying we are the sandwich generation. We are definitely the sandwich generation.
Yes, we are. And when we try to do all of it, that's when the burnout really piles on.
Yeah, the burnout piles on. The burnout really impacts your physiological internal being. For the World Health Organization to say it as a diagnosis and a true thing, it's not just the term that's been thrown about. It's an actual diagnosis. Perform at work is so crucial, and how you are as a human. So I always say, take on the role of self-preservation first. Like, you have to preserve yourself. I know we go on the planes, we hear it all the time, put your life vest on first, but it really has to happen in real life. We cannot save our spouse, let alone anybody else, unless we save ourselves. So it's so important, so very important.
Yeah. I love that. The Dalai Lama said that the Western world will be saved by the Western woman, so I think the Dalai Lama knew what was up.
Dalai Lama was right, always has been. So yeah, I do.
I know you have some tips to share with our listeners today to help them with the 360-degree impact of menopause for executive women. But I want to ask you first, for women of color, there's a whole nother level of impact of menopause, issues in the workplace, how are you seeing that show up with your clients, I would say, in your practice?
So thank you for asking that, because being in our world, we sort of assume that everyone's having this conversation. And in reality, I will say definitely for my cultures and my friends that it's not happening. So for women of color, menopause happens to us earlier and it lasts longer than our counterparts.
With it
And the
more difficult,
yeah,
often
much more
as well.
difficult. Everything's a little bit more intensified. We've heard this and know this to be fact. So a lot of it's our culture, like we don't want to talk about that. Like, oh, it's the change. Somebody literally said to me the other day, oh, all she does is talk about the change. I'm like, what? Like, yeah.
The change, like the coins in my pocket, which we don't even have coins in our pockets anymore.
We don't even have dimes anymore. But for women of color, there is a shame and a stigmatism attached to being in menopause. So we're not going to have a conversation about it. We're going to hide. And 90% of the time, they're suffering in silence. They're not even talking to their girlfriends. I have a couple of friends that are older, and they never mentioned the menopause. I'm like, I know y'all went through the menopause.
The menopause.
Right.
But Sonya, why do you think we, as a culture, as a race, put it in the shame bucket? Women in general, right? We know society, women in general have that experience or believe that about menopause. But why do women of color especially? Because I've noticed that also in speaking with women in the Latin community, except, so it's not just Black women, I think, but why do you think that?
Women and melanated women, women and
melanated women.
I do think that there is women who are in menopause or are considered dirty or, not worthy. Like historically speaking, like when I spoke to like my few elderly aunts, they're like, oh no, it was shame. And so it was a sense of an internal shame and generational shame that was associated with women and that they weren't no longer worthy. Like they expired their time as a prime woman. And then they became the old maid. So I really think for melanated women who are in menopause, that the shame goes deep of unworthiness and no longer attractive or of. And so we have to really dispel those myths that that's not true. And the conversation really needs to be had. That's why I'm really excited, promoting my melanated and menopause brunch series coming up this month. But
I want to talk more about that.
It goes deep.
Oh, so good. And FemFlexer says it's been way better after 50 than it was before. It's so sad. In a lot of ways, this is the best part of our lives because if we had kids, we got them mostly up and out, mostly the boomerangs, but
they come back now.
They do come back, but at least they're independent, when they come back.
You must have girls. I have boys, but
no, I have 2 boys and I have 1 in my basement right now. 23.
Gotcha. Been there, done all that. But I will say for women, of color and who are in menopause, there is this a shame and a stigma that we're unclean. That's the term I meant to use. We are unclean. And we are no longer of desirable. We are all dried up, and we suffer in silence, and that does not need to happen. Doesn't need to happen.
Not okay.
Not okay. It's
okay.
2024. Right. Now's the best time to be in menopause.
Yes.
That's yeah.
Right. Not only is it the best time in our lives, it's the best time to be in menopause because we're actually talking about it and we're empowering it. That's what MenoWell is all about. Like, eat well. When you eat better, you feel better. You feel stronger and energetic and empowered and beautiful in the skin you're in. Like, it's so good. I feel like I'm doing a Dove commercial, but not really.
No, great. I'm doing great. I ordered my Menos on Amazon this morning. I was like, I ordered sample packs.
You're so cute. You just let me know. I'll just send you some. Okay.
But
So, I made a note because I didn't want to. So, I want you to share some tips because we've talked. You've given out so many incredible golden nuggets here. But if you have any other tips, because I love it, especially speaking to coaches, having been a coach, when women can hear this and walk away with some things that they can apply right now to feel better in this experience.
I totally agree. So some of the things that I always encourage women, I'll leave you with like 5 tips that I would recommend, is to first, the number one thing I would say is to become an advocate for your own health. Like, I know you hear that a lot, but be an advocate for your own health. Second is,
Can I ask you, what does advocate mean?
advocate
That
to speak up, and if it doesn't suit or feel the need or question or answer that you're looking for, you keep going. Like, no one knows you better than yourself. You are with yourself 24/7, 365. So if something does not feel right and you share it with a physician or someone else and they don't answer your question, they're one person. I call it medical practice. It's a practice, not an absolute. It's a practice, which we love. But be an advocate. Like, keep searching for, you are worthy to have the best available care to take care of your vessel of your body. So stop any means necessary. You are committed, be committed to the best quality of health that you can have. All right, that's the first
beautiful
thing. The second thing I would say is to prioritize sleep. I mean, sleep is really the superpower. It really is a superpower. And I know for those who are going through hot flashes and night sweats, set up a routine. Like, how can I get more sleep? And I'm guilty. We'll be in that bed scrolling along like, oh, let me see what's going on. And then you go to bed. And it's just
worse, you fall asleep with your phone in your hand.
With your phone in your hand. Ugh. Guilty. Been there, done that one. But really prioritize your sleep. Be an advocate, prioritize your sleep. And then 3, be mindful of what you're thinking. Like, am I really thinking? You have to be an active participant in your thoughts. Be aware. Think about what you're eating. Just like you plan out a day, people, it's vacation season, and they plan everything. They can plan that vacation down to the science.
Right.
Plan your food and nutrition. If you know you're going to be away, don't go by default. Be very intentional about what you eat and how you move. Very important. Otherwise, you'll be in default mode. And then, all the things that happen along with that.
Right.
So first is advocate. Second is sleep is your hygiene. 3 is that morning routine and being intentional about, I'm 4. Be intentional about what you put into your body. And then remember to breathe. Like, remember to breathe. And you have to, one thing that I always say, and this is going to be a bonus, find something that brings you joy in terms of fun. I have my clients I give them coloring books. Like, things we did when we were small.
We tend to think, oh, that's silly. I don't have time for that. Forget about having fun, especially executive women. We built our whole lives, our identity, our finances, everything on GSD, getting done, right? And it's fun. That only happens when you go on vacation. Yeah. Oh, but you still have to take a conference call while you're there too. But
that's true.
Just fun.
And then you come back tired, and you need a vacation from the vacation. Right. But it's a form of meditation. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. And I look at the pickleball craze all of a sudden. People are getting outside having fun. I was like, I'm not mad at you.
No, it's great.
So it's great, but definitely be mindful and know that you do have the power to make a change within your life and within your body, in collaboration with your healthcare provider or, your medical tribe. But it's totally, totally, totally a doable thing. I do believe that extraordinary women such as ourselves deserve extraordinary lives.
Yeah. Drop the mic, Coach Sonya. That is amazing. I love every single word that you have said. As executive women or entrepreneurs, we work so hard. And I was in corporate life way back when. I'm not employable anymore, but way back when, in the corporate days. And when you work hard to be senior level executive, as a woman, we have probably worked 2 or 3 times harder than everybody else. Maybe you're a woman of color, then add a few more X's on there in order to achieve. And so we need to remember our power, remember our economic power, remember our power of influence, but remember that we've got to take care of ourselves.
Yes. It's this, you have to put the mask on first. Otherwise, everything else is going to crumble. You're going to crumble first. And people will keep on, like, it'll keep on going. So definitely self-care is not selfish.
No,
it is not.
And if you don't have a coach, get one. Every woman in corporate life, entrepreneur, and if you're at home raising some people or grandkids, you need a coach too. Get one, because it's transformational. It's not therapy, because some women are confused by that. But
Correct.
Coaching is someone that you can have a conversation with about where you are, and they ask incredibly thoughtful questions to help you get from where you are to where you want to be. And I know, Sonya, just from all the nuggets you've shared, that you are a fantastic coach.
Thank you so much for having me, Julie.
I'm so grateful. So where can we find all your goodness? So you can
definitely go onto my website, sonyabarnes.com. That's always me. And then my IG, I'm on IG a lot. I realize I only go on Wednesdays now, but I'm like, okay. So IG and LinkedIn, but I'm definitely on there. I just posted a blog this morning that came out, and it was called Having a Funner Summer. Ooh. So where we can implement more fun. And I'm excited to be starting a twice a month virtual brunch for melanin and menopause, melanated and menopause. So all women of color. It'll be free virtual, and I'll send the details out. Stay tuned on my IG. So
yeah, let us know. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Oh, girl. Keto
I love
mimosa. Bring your little keto mimosa and come on.
Oh, there you go. Here we go. Now we're having funner time, right?
Funner.
I'm so happy that you're here. I want to ask you one more question, and that is, what does it mean to you to MenoWell?
To MenoWell means to be in movement for me. If I'm not in movement, then there's a problem. And movement changes my whole physiological self. So for me, MenoWell is being in movement and doing things that bring me joy.
I love it. I love it. And that's why you're an executive life and wellness coach, because you understand the power of both of those things together.
Yes.
That's what 360 is all about. Yep.
Can't piecemeal it.
Wow. So good. Sonya, thank you so much. Can you come back again? I'm sure there's so many
absolutely things anytime.
Okay. Well, have a wonderful, this is the 4th of July week. I know people are sneaking off early to have more funner this week.
Funner summer.
Thanks for being there. Stay dry, stay cool, and have fun. Be well, everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Sonya.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Julie.
Bye. Take care. Bye-bye.